What is up, Nuggets fans? I'm back here again to do another video. This is the first video I've done in a few months, so I do apologize for that. A lot has obviously gone on and changed with the Nuggets franchise since I've made a video last. Again, it was like 4 or 5 months ago that I made a video. We obviously fired Brian Shaw. There's a lot of uncertainty right now going around with the Nuggets roster. Who's going to be on the team next year? Who's going to be, going? There's some rumors we're going to trade Ty Lawson, Kenneth Reed, things of that nature. And obviously we got the NBA draft coming up next week, and that's obviously a big deal for us, picking at number 7 overall. This is a huge draft for us, probably the most important draft we've had since the year we took Carmelo back in 2003. So this is a big deal. Big draft coming up next week for the Nuggets. But in this video, I want to mainly focus on the Nuggets finally hiring a new head coach. It's been about, I think, 100 days since the Nuggets fired Brian Shaw. So obviously this was a very lengthy coaching search. But the Nuggets finally made a decision. They hired Michael Malone, former head coach of the Sacramento Kings, to be the 16th head coach in the Denver Nuggets franchise's history. They made that official yesterday and introduced him today in a press conference. Very interesting hire by the Nuggets and Josh Kroenke and Tim Connelly. I was very surprised by this, to see Mike Malone as our new head coach. But I do like it. I think Mike Malone is a fantastic coach. I think he's a great basketball mind. I think he's a guy that's got great passion for the game, knows the game well, is a tireless worker, and is a guy that's well respected throughout the league, and kind of got a raw deal there in Sacramento, and was doing some good things for that franchise before they just abruptly let him go last December. But again, very kind of surprising hire by the Nuggets here. I really thought we were going to hire Melvin Hunt. I thought this was definitely Melvin Hunt's job to lose here, and I really thought the Nuggets, were going to hire him, especially after what he did as the interim head coach this season. But once again, we hired Mike Malone instead of Melvin Hunt. Mike D'Antoni's name was out there as well. I was pretty happy to see we didn't hire him, and Mike Malone's name also was rumored to be a name in the Nuggets coaching search. He had interviewed with the team twice. We interviewed Portland Trailblazers assistant David Vanterpool as well. So there's a few names out there, but I just never really expected Mike Malone to be that guy. But I do like the hire here by the Nuggets, and I think Mike Malone is a good basketball coach. Now, whether he will be successful here or not, time will only tell. And obviously the Nuggets are going to need to kind of adjust the roster to him. But this is a guy that, again, is well respected throughout the league and has a tremendous passion for the game of basketball, and is still relatively young for a head coach in the NBA. He's only 44 years old. He's from Queens, New York. So this is a guy he's tough. He preaches defense. He likes to play up-tempo offensively, which obviously is something that is much different from Brian Shaw. And is a guy that has a ton of experience as a coach, not only as an assistant on the collegiate level, but also as the NBA level. And, of course, recently was just the head coach for the Kings, and is a former player. He was a former point guard at Loyola University in Maryland. He had 370 points, 279 assists, and 79 steals in his career there. And like I mentioned, has been an assistant both on the collegiate level and the NBA level. On the collegiate level, he was assistant for Oakland, Providence, and Manhattan. And on the NBA level, he was assistant for the Knicks, Cavaliers, Hornets, and Warriors. And I think during his time as assistant for the Warriors under Mark Jackson, I believe he was voted by league executives as the best assistant coach in the NBA at the time. So you like that. Again, this guy's got a lot of praise throughout the league, a lot of respect. And again, was just recently a head coach for the Sacramento Kings. So it is different in the sense from Brian Shaw that, Mike Malone does have previous head coaching experience, but again, didn't really have much success there in Sacramento. Definitely got a raw deal there, but they only went 39-67 with him. He was there for about 100 games. So this is an interesting hire. Again, I think Mike Malone definitely is going to help us defensively. This is a guy that preaches defense. Again, this is a guy that is a tireless worker, a hard-nosed guy from Queens, New York. So he's not going to put up with any bullshit. And he's a great players coach, and he connects with players a lot better than I think Brian Shaw obviously did. And I think that's obviously a huge difference between him and Brian Shaw, is that he has done some wonders with players in the NBA and has cultivated some great relationships with his former players. Isaiah Thomas, who was his point guard in Sacramento, loved him. him. DeMarcus Cousins, who obviously is a guy that has had his fair share of problems so far in his short NBA career, has been a little bit of a problem child, has said nothing but great things about Mike Malone. So you obviously like that. I think he's going to be a great fit for the guys that we do have going into next season. Again, the Nuggets roster on who will be on that roster come opening day, I have no clue. It's so uncertain and unpredictable right now. But I think no matter who we have, Mike Malone's going to be able to get the best out of them, and I think he's going to do his best to put our players in a position to succeed, which is something I don't think Brian Shaw did. I think Brian Shaw kind of came into a bad situation and just made it worse. I think Mike Malone is the type of guy and the type of coach that is going to come into a bad situation and do whatever he can to make the best out of it. So I'm excited for Mike Malone to be here. I think defensively we're going to improve as a team next year. And I was really impressed with his introduction at the press conference today for his introduction as the new head coach of the Nuggets. I thought he was really well spoken. You can tell he's a very, very smart guy, and he's very well prepared for this. He definitely did his homework on our team and on our franchise's history. So he kind of, you can tell, has a game plan of what he has in mind to make us successful. And I like some of the things he said. Again, this is a genuine guy too. Seems like a great just human being in general. So I'm excited to have him at the forefront. And he talked a lot about being a more efficient team, playing up-tempo offensively, but utilizing our defense to get us to play fast, kind of like the Warriors are doing this season. Obviously, they're in the finals right now, a win away from the NBA championship. So he kind of talked about that, and he kind of talked about how the league is changing to kind of like a positionless NBA, if you will, and how it's becoming a more three-point shooting league. So you like that he's not so set in his ways like Brian Shaw. And you like that Mike Malone seems to be a very progressive thinker. Again, seems like a very sharp guy that has a ton of perspective. And I think he's going to do everything he can to get the best out of the guys that we have now. It's obviously going to be a process, but I'm really excited to see what he does, especially once we get some talent in here and get some players that fit what he wants to do. And he also talked about today in his press conference of running with purpose, playing in transition and being an efficient transition team, which is something we weren't last year. We're a great transition offensive team, but our transition defense was horrible. We were one of the worst transition defensive teams last season in the NBA. So you'd like that he's already kind of seeing some of the weaknesses we had and looking to address that. So I'm excited to have Mike Malone on board. Welcome to Denver, Mike Malone. Excited to see what you do. Welcome you with open arms. Definitely a lot more excited to have him on board than I was Brian Shaw. I thought Brian Shaw was going to be a good coach too. I obviously ate my words there and was completely wrong on that. But I think Mike Malone has a much better shot to succeed because of the type of man he is and the type of players coach he is, which is something Brian Shaw did not possess. So leave me a comment below. What do you think of the Nuggets hiring Mike Malone? Again, kind of a surprising hiring. How do you think he fits in here? What do you think he's going to do next season to help improve this team? And how do you think the Nuggets look going forward with him as a head coach? So thanks for watching, guys. Again, it's been a while, so I appreciate anyone that stays subscribed to the channel and watches this. I really appreciate it. And I'll be doing a video soon, probably after the draft, to recap what the Nuggets did. Hopefully we have a good draft come next Thursday. It's going to be a monumental night for this franchise. Take care, guys.